Our next speaker, Wenche 𝐂𝐨𝐧𝐼𝐻, hails from Norway. She's a member of the board of the Norwegian Schweisshund Association and member of the Norwegian Basset Club for all 6 Basset breeds, as well as serving as president and vice president of the Norwegian Basset Club. Formerly a member of the Norwegian Kennel Club, she currently serves as a member of the Health Committee of the Norwegian Kennel Club and the Norwegian Kennel Club representative for the Brachycephalic Council. She's currently a member of the Norwegian Bulldog Club with a focus on brachycephalic problems, working with the breed clubs and different national and international health problems. Wenche is a breeder and Norwegian judge.
Wenche Skogli de Noruega nos hablará de la importancia de la interacción de juez y criador. Ella es miembro del Consejo de la Asociación Noruega del Schweisshund de 1999 al 2001, miembro del Club de Basset Noruego para las 6 razas de Basset, vicepresidenta y presidenta del Basset Club Noruego durante varios años, del 2012 al 2019, presidenta del Club de Boston Terrier Noruego durante un año y actualmente es miembro de la Junta del Club de Bulldog Noruego con enfoque en los problemas braquicefálicos, trabajando con los clubes de raza y evaluando los diferentes problemas de salud, tanto nacionales como internacionales. Vamos a darle un fuerte aplauso, por favor. Welcome.
Hello. First, I want to thank you so much for the invitation to attend the Congress. And I also want to say thank you to President Thomas Drake for being a proactive president, putting together the Health and Welfare Committee, which I think was in time for the FCI, since the society keeps attacking us from everywhere. And also this amazing health conference that's being hosted by the Mexican Kennel Club deserves a huge thanks. We're going to speak about breeders and judges interaction and its importance. First of all, I want to say I'm not the original speaker for this topic. The FCI sadly can have no impact on what the world leaders do. So during the circumstances, the speaker of this topic could not attend the conference because of circumstances in the world. So that's why I was asked to do it instead. So we'll try to guide you through interaction. I actually Googled the word interaction, and a lot of different things came up because interaction can mean a lot of different things in a lot of different contexts. But it means to communicate, react to people you are involved with, cooperation. It can mean that people are depending on each other. So I think I will do the approach with depending on each other, because we're all depending on each other. Both the judges depend on the breeders coming with their dogs, and the breeders depend on the judges to keep a balance within the breed. Do we need shows and tests? Why should we have shows and tests? I think the obvious answer for me as a dog person, the answer is yes, we absolutely need shows and tests. Exhibitions and tests are so far the only independent corrective we have on our dogs. I mean, since prehistoric times, people have had animals in their habitats. It was quite interesting because when I was at the Historical Museum in Mexico City, when I saw the archaeological findings from the Mayan Indians, I can see on the stone palettes dog creatures like the one in the Mexican Kennel Club symbol. So they have always been there, I think. But in the millenniums, the domesticated dogs have developed into different groups, like scent hounds, guardian dogs, hunting dogs, and we do that. We breed for different skills. That's what the development of the breed are, and previous presentations has talked about how we develop breeds, so I'm not going to go very deep into that. But I think today people say, oh, it's a show, it's a dog show. But I think it should be talked about with a little more respect, because actually it's been around for a long time, and from the country that I come from, like Norway, the first show was in 1877. And it originates from the farmers. The farmers used to take their livestock to the market, like cows, pigs, sheep, to get them assessed and to compare them with other farmers' animals. And the economy didn't afford them to have poor animals. They needed to breed for longevity, they needed to breed good production animals, and they needed to have them around for a long time. And I think every good breeder within the FCI system or other kennel club systems wants to breed good, longevity, healthy dogs. Because using our dogs to different things, hunting, police work, customs, military, it takes years to train those dogs. So we need them around for a long time. We need them to be healthy, we need them to live long, and we need them to have the certain skills they're supposed to have. So that is why I think both shows, hunting tests, all kind of different tests are important, because that is how we can assess what is in the breed. Is the breed in balance, or has it developed in the wrong direction in any way? There's the only possibility we have to have any control of what is within the breed is if we assess them. And also, we assess the individuals we can use for future breeding. We have no idea what's out there if we don't go to a dog show and get the dogs examined. How do we know what's within the breed? How do we know what animals to use for further breeding? How do we know they are within the standard of the skills that we require for this specific breed? And also we assess the offsprings of the breeding that has been done. The breeders bring their product to the shows because they want to see, is my product within the standard? Am I breeding within the standard? And also hunting tests. It's like, are my dogs within the way they should be? Do they have the skills they should have to perform the work they should have? And like watching Miguel Angel's presentation yesterday, and he was talking about the dogs that were going to run in the fields for 5, 4, 6, 7 hours doing hard work. If the dog doesn't have the correct anatomy, the correct coat, the correct type for it, how can we expect the dog to perform the work of 6 and 7 hours? The breed standard. A FCI or a KC standard always describe a healthy dog. It's no room for unhealthy dogs in a standard. It describes the physical and mental characteristics for the breed. Every breed standard describes a healthy dog. And it's actually a working tool for the judges and for the breeders. A breeder knows the standard, the judge knows the standard, and it's the tool you have when you go to work. When I'm going out to judge, I always sit home and I read the standard, I read some compendies, I really like to read these compendies, because why was this breed made? What is it made for? What kind of work is it supposed to do? When I go into the ring and I see this beautiful dog, I also want to know, what is this dog's work? What is it supposed to do? Because every breed actually was made to do something. To guard something, to herd something, to hunt something, to be a companion dog. So this is our working tools. Why do we need to breed within the standard? Why do we need that? Can't we just breed something? Well, as I said, all breeds were made for a purpose. We select for something we want within the breed, something we expect them to do. So they were made for a purpose. And the standard described the characteristics for the breed. Like the Newfoundland dog. Beautiful dog. Big, black, giant. It can come in different colors, I know that, but this one is black. Lovely, friendly, elegant. Love to watch them in the ring. But it's also a working dog. It's supposed to dive out from helicopters into ice water to rescue people. It's supposed to grab a line and tow a boat which is in need. So if this dog is not within the standard, if this dog has the wrong coat, if it has the wrong anatomy, without the correct coat, dives into ice water, it will actually freeze to death. You can't expect it to do the work it was supposed to do. The Clumber Spaniel, nice, shiny, white, beautiful dog in a show ring. But it's also a working dog. Very nice ones to work with. The Basset Hound, long ears, skin. The long ears and the skin were actually there for a purpose. And I can proudly say that this photo is not a Google photo. It's my photo. I know the dogs very well. I know the hunters very well. The hunter is the father of a friend of mine who also breeds Basset, who bred Basset for over 20 years. And it's Doris and 𝐂𝐸 is the dogs. They're both show champions and also very capable hunters. Norway is not an easy country to hunt in. It's hills, it's mountains, it's wood. But these dogs are fully capable of doing hunting, even with ears and everything. They're supposed to have the ears and skins for a reason. The grading system. I know there are different cultures, there are different ways of doing it, but I will speak of the grading system that we have within the FCI because that was I'm most familiar and educated within. Excellent, very good, good, sufficient, cannot be judged, disqualify. How to use this, and I know, as I said, it's different culture, different countries, the way shows are organized are different, but I think actually we need to be a little stricter sometimes, because in these definitions, excellent means what it says. It's an excellent dog. It's a dog that are almost ideal within the standard. It's like the dream dog. It's what the standard describes. A very good dog is actually that. It's a very good dog. It's a very good specimen of the breed. And I know in some breeds and some breed cultures, it's like, oh my God, I got very good. And in other environments, in other cultures, it's like, oh, I got a very good, I have a very good dog. So it's a little bit what I think it's what we communicate. I think we need to be better in communicating to the society that we are using the grading system and we are using it for a reason. We are assessing the product that the breeder brings to us. We're telling what is within the breed. Do we have only excellent dogs within the breed? No, I don't think so. We don't have only good dogs either. We have excellent, very good, good, and sufficient dogs. And from where I come from, which is the hunting section, they expect you to use the grading system. They will be very offended if you don't, and they will know that you don't either. If a hunter comes in and have a good dog, it's actually that. It's a good dog, but it has some faults within the standard. Minor faults, maybe, but it's faults. So today, sir, you will get a good, and he said, oh, thank you, I have a good dog. Yeah, you have. Cannot be judged. Be used for when you have an excellent dog coming into the ring, and example, he's limping. You don't want to give him sufficient or disqualified because he hasn't any disqualified faults. But you can't see the movements, so that's why he can't be judged. Because you can't see correct movement that day, or maybe you can't see the teeth, or maybe he's not available that day. But it's an excellent dog, but you can't judge him. So it's better to give him can't be judged than to give him disqualified, I think. Written critiques. Some countries have written critiques, and some countries don't have written critiques. I can only say this from my point of view as a judge. I cannot say it from everyone else's points of view, but I think on a world dog show, on a European dog show, it can be difficult because it's huge. It's like 25,000 dogs plus minus. So it can be organized-wise difficult to do. But on the other hand, on other shows, I think we are saying something to the breeder that comes into our ring with this dog. He pays money, he wants to come, he asks for the judge's opinion, he wants his breeding to be judged. And what do I say to this person if I can't say it in a critique? How should I communicate to this person that you have an excellent dog if I can't say it or write it? So I think actually that the way the society is going and the question marks that is, why do we have dog shows? Why should we put the dogs to the stress to have dog shows? We have it because it's necessary to have it. Okay, why was it necessary to go? Because it was 50 dogs and it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and it was goodbye. Oh, I can understand that, but no, I got a written confirmation of what the judge thought of my dog. Oh, okay, yeah, you got very good, you had a very good dog. But it's difficult because it's different cultures, it's different environments. So, but from my point of view, I think that we need to communicate to the society that we're not having dog shows for fun. We're having them for a reason. And I think we need to give something to say, to like confirm that reason. It's a constructive feedback to the breeder, what we actually think about his product that he's bringing to us. What can we say in a critique? We can say, nice champion, defend this title, goodbye. But that doesn't say so much. Or we can say, in a polite way, what we actually see in front of us. We can describe the head, the muscle, the shoulder, the top line, the gait, the feet, everything. Of course, it depends on what the breed is used for, but if you're judging hunting dogs, the construction is important, the movement is important, the feet important. It's going to work a whole day in the fields. So that would be worth mentioning. In many critiques, in many countries, the critiques are online. Before you can do this, the critique is online and everyone around the ring has read it. And of course, if you're given a good or a sufficient, that can be unpleasant. But it's actually your job. As a judge, it's your job. You're asked to judge the dog in front of you. And if it has faults, if it is a good dog or a sufficient dog, then you should politely write that in a constructive way. Who are the judge? Who are we? A judge is often a breeder, him or herself. That's very normal that the judge is a previous or currently a breeder. It's a long education to become one. You need to be very passionate to use all your spare time to take the education of becoming a judge. You need passion for the kinological work. And I think as a judge, you have the responsibility of keeping yourself updated. What's happening in the breeds that you're judging. You have a responsibility to attend judging conferences and breed days organized by clubs. That depends because, of course, have you been judging for 40 years and you travel around the world and you see a lot of dogs? You have a lot of experience. Are you a fresh judge or maybe not authorized for that many breeds? I would recommend to attend as many judging conferences given by the breed clubs as possible. And I know the breed clubs really appreciate it. If they go to the trouble to make a judging conference, they collect dogs, they make compendies, and it's out of the respect for the breed you're judging and for the breeders to actually attend the judging conference and see what's within the breed. What do the club want you to It may be problems within the breed. On a judging conference, the club can say, okay, we have a problem with our breed with short rib cages. We want you judges to be extra aware of the short rib cages. So it's quite useful. Many judges often have more than one authorization. A lot of judges have their show judge and a hunting judge, or a show judge and agility judge. When we talk about judges, it's often we talk about the show judges, but we have a lot of judges. It's judges in dog dancing, agility, hunting. So normally, often they have more than one authorization. The breeder produced the dog, and they produce it for a purpose. My experience is that the breeder that comes to the show and are very dedicated to the breed often have huge knowledge about the breeds they produce, knowledge about dogs in general, and they have a lot of love and compassion. A good breeder, I think, when he goes to a show, a good breeder take constructive criticism and use it in a breed program. And often you can hear that, oh, well, they're always winning, they're always winning. Has it occurred to anyone that maybe it's a clever breeder? It's a clever breeder that produces good dogs, that can see what's in front of him and only bring the dogs that he thinks is high quality. The interaction between breeder and judge. We need shows and tests to measure the results within the breeder's work. The way the judge communicates to the breeder is important feedback. You can always be polite, you can always be gentle, you can always give sufficient in a pleasant way. They may not like it, but then still you have given a constructive feedback and you've done it politely. And that's all you can do. To keep the breed within the standards is important so the breed can perform the work they're made for many years. Shows and tests are also important to test the dog's mentality. You can see a lot when you go to a test or a dog show because it also shows a lot about the dog's mentality and temperament. Is that within the standard as well? Does it have the temperament that the standard requires? We need to breed good and healthy dog that can function in our modern society. This is a story I would like to tell because it shows interaction between older judges, older breeders, and younger judges. Because judging, as I said, hunting dogs is often smaller shows, and often you have a lot of older, not to be sexist, but a lot of older men sitting outside the ring who's been sitting there for the last 50 years, and they know the breed inside out. They know everything in this breed. They know who won in 1970. So I was judging the Norwegian hound, and it's not easy because the hunters having the Norwegian hounds are very strict. You need to go to a hunting test, you need to go to a judging seminar, and they really want you to read, and they really want you to know this breed. So I was going and I was judging, and we're going to talk about that a little later today, but this is one of the breeds that are a little difficult because they're allowed to be crossed with other scent hounds. And the crossings are allowed at shows. So when you stand there, you can see, but you're allowed to ask. So you can ask, excuse me, is this a cross? And he will answer, yes, the mother is a Finnish hound and the father is a dunker. And okay, then you can actually see that, but yes, that's allowed. And as a judge, I'm obligated to grade it. I can give it sufficient, but I'm obligated to grade it so we can go further in the breed and have a hunting test and be used for breeding. So I was standing there and all these dunkers come in the ring and I was thinking, oi, oi, oi. And I was so happy because at least there was one nice one. And I asked, is it a cross? Yes. Is it a cross? Yes. So it was good, 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 sufficient, good. And finally, this young male came, and he got excellent and a CK, and he was best of breed. So I was so happy for this dog. And I've seen this old man at a lot of shows. I've never spoken to him, but I've seen him, and I know who he is. He's an honorable member of the Norwegian Hound Association. And he's 95 years old. And he comes with his wooden stick, and he comes into the ring before I was starting the next breed. And I was like, oh, and he stands in front of me and said, you probably don't know who I am. And I said, yes, I know who you are by name, but I don't know you personally. And he looks at me and he takes his hand and he says, you did good. I'm happy. I've been, since I was 20, I've been to all the shows for this breed in Norway, all the specialties. And I'm so happy that you're now 3 younger women judging the breed. And I liked what I saw, so I'm happy. And this meant so much to me because he didn't need to do it. This old breeder, he's not a judge, but he's an old breeder, and he didn't need to do that. He didn't need to come into my ring and say this. But I will never forget it, and it means the world to me. So I think for the younger one to respect the older one and learn, and for the older ones to embrace the younger ones and teach them right. That's important. Because if no one teaches you right, you will never do right. Afterthought, we have seen this in the Health and Welfare Committee, and it's from Horst Kiebenstein, a FCI judge from Germany. And he wrote, the judge keeps the influence upon the breeds. Let me say, when you have the honor to judge European show or the world show, and you give the title to a male, you have to remember that this male will come into the breed as the producer. So when you take a wrong type or a dog with a fault, which is very dominant in this breed, your decision can cause big, big damage. You have to look at your judgment from this point of view. Your responsibility is really huge when you feel that you're not only to give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but to think about what you must do for the breed which you judge now. And if you're going to the ring with this feeling, then for sure you have read the standard one more time. That you know what's important for this breed and what for this breed was created. You have to understand if the dog standing in front of you is able to do the work which is breeding for. It's really much more difficult than just to find a stylish dog. But for me, it's essential. And I think that's an afterthought, and I think that sums up what I've tried to communicate to you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Wenche. Are there any questions for her? We can take 2 questions because we're running a little behind. Questions? Oh, good, that's helping. Your presentation was so clear, Wenche. They got it. Okay, thank you so much again.
I want to thank the FCI board members for giving Mexico the opportunity of having this important World Congress for Welfare and Health for the dogs worldwide. We are really pleased, and thank you so much for giving us this great opportunity. And also I want to thank all the speakers from all over the world who participate in this great event. Thank you.